Hey, it's Brent Conley with Team Conley. I've got another video for you about the top 10 things a seller should do prior to listing their home for sale. I'm here in beautiful San Diego, and these are the things that I wrote down just to make sure that I'm educating our clients and our potential clients about listing their property. And these are just easy things that you can do to help the process. Okay, so declutter your home. That means taking all the junk, use it for spring cleaning, use it for summer cleaning, use it for fall cleaning. The bottom line, take all the stuff that we shove into closets, we put in the corner, and we forget about it. We think we're gonna use it someday and we're not. Decluttering the home is important, especially closets. Let's talk about that. Now, my closets sometimes have been packed to the rim of the door, and we shove it closed and say, just don't open it, okay? It's gone, like this. So that's what I'm talking about, right? We have to take all that stuff out that we've accumulated over the years, and it's time to get rid of that stuff so people can open the closet door without fear of their life, of everything falling down on them, and seeing the shelving and seeing where they could place their things into the home, okay? So I know I'm going a little overboard, but this is kind of a fun conversation. Let's talk about garages. Now, garages are a huge problem because of storage space, right? And we just accumulate all kinds of cool stuff and we put in the garage. Along with our Christmas decor, along with our Easter decor, along with our Halloween decor, and every other holiday and summer things to do, our cars, are just everything that's associated with our outdoor life is in the garage. Trying to get rid of some of that stuff that we haven't used in years. We're not going to use it in years, and we sure as heck don't want to move it. So it's time to declutter the garage as well. The other thing that I want to just touch briefly on is all the personalized photography of your family pictures and everything. We want to take a lot of that stuff, if not all of it, out of the property, so the new buyers that are coming in there can visualize themselves living there with their family, okay? It's a psychological thing. The National Association of Realtors does surveys, and they've polled people, and that's one of the things that they've always suggested is to depersonalize the space, meaning each room, and make it more open for buyers. So two things there: declutter and depersonalize, and just make the spaces neutral. Okay, the next thing I wrote down was completing any necessary repairs, okay? Now, this is really, really important. We always suggest, when we're representing buyers, we always suggest them to get a home inspector. And the home inspector is going to go through the property after we're in escrow, and they're going to basically do a report on all the things that need to get fixed on the property, okay? And we want less things to come up on the report, right? It'll make the transaction go smoother. It'll allow less negotiations to happen with people asking for repairs. So if you know that there's a doorknob that's broke, a handle or something, or the window has a rock chip in it from the lawnmower, or the sliding glass door squeaks when you're opening and shutting it. Maybe that one of the rooms needs to get painted because one of the kids was into spray paint art and customized their room. Then it's time to really fix some of those things that could turn off a buyer when purchasing the property, because we've actually got to sell the property multiple times. We've got to sell them online with the photography. We've got to sell them coming into the property. We've got to sell them to stay in the property, and then we've got to sell them on writing an offer. We've got to sell them on getting through the home inspection and then negotiating repairs, and then we've got to sell them on staying through that entire deal till we close escrow. And we're really, really good at that. But this is where it starts, is getting some of those items that we've put off, and all of us have done it. We've put off the maintenance and the cleanliness of certain areas. We've got to fix some of that now prior to listing the home for sale. And even the little things that does not seem like a big deal sometimes is a big deal in the eyes of a buyer. So that's what we're trying to avoid, is any poor impression that something silly would bring on. We want to change that impression because we want those offers coming in to help you sell for the maximum dollar amount possible. Okay, so the next thing I wrote down was cleaning the property and staging the home. Okay, so let's talk about cleaning the property. Now, it's always a good idea, and most of our clients have maid service or they've got somebody in the house that's really good at cleaning. But sometimes we get clients that, that has not always been the case. Maybe it was a rental property. Maybe somebody, just, missed some things over a course of time. And it's always a great idea to hire a third-party cleaner to clean the stuff that you don't really want to do, or somebody that's supposed to be doing, has it done, and really deep clean the property. So it could be a shower, it could be the watermarks from hard water deposits, it could be, the tile grout, it could be the stains on the carpet. So it's always a great idea to have a good first impression when we go live on the marketplace, and it starts with making sure the house is properly cleaned. Okay, the next thing I said was staging the property. Now, I'm not the best stager. So Rebecca is, or one of our other great agents have the skill, have the eyes for staging. And it's not necessarily me. I'm just like, let's list it and let's go. I'm gonna go market it. I'm gonna make phone calls and we're gonna get this thing sold. And I'm gung-ho on doing that. But I always rely on another set of eyes because they're better at that. That's important to a different person. And so there's a couple of us that are going to look at your property, and we're going to make sure that your property is in the best light. It's presented in the best light in the eyes of a buyer. We do that a couple different ways. One of those things is staging. So that means if a room has too much furniture in the property, or in that room, we're going to ask, okay, let's take this dresser out or that dresser, or let's take this desk out, and to open up and make the property feel larger, or the room larger. And those are the things that we're going to talk about in person. And I think it really, really helps. The next thing I wrote down is we want to enhance the curb appeal of your property. Now, some of my clients have amazing, truly spectacular front curb appeal. The pride of ownership just speaks it, walking up to the property. Now, I have other clients that it's average, and I have other clients that haven't done anything in the front yard. And so now it's a really good idea to take a look from an objective opinion, right? And say, okay, if I'm a buyer, am I going to be excited to walk through the house with this curb appeal? So landscaping needs to get done, weeds need to get pulled, hedges need to be trimmed, trees need to be trimmed, and really look at that subjectively and say, okay, is a buyer really going to care about this, or could it be better than it is today? And we'll help you with that as we come out to look at the property and make sure that your first impression when they come up to the house is a great one. Okay, the next piece I wrote down is organize and tidy up storage spaces. So I touched on this about the closets a little bit ago, of like shoving the door shut and leaving it be. So, that's just one example. I see other things, tidying up underneath the kitchen sink, where all the cleaning supplies typically go. Maybe it's in the laundry room, organizing those spaces so the buyer can see their stuff, and do they have enough storage, right? That's an important thing for a lot of our buyers today. Storage spaces are so important for so many people. Okay, the next thing is removing pets or pet-related items. Now, I'm a dog owner. I have 2 wonderful dogs. I've got a cat, I've got a turtle, I've got 2 kids. Oh wait, the kids aren't pets. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're animals, wild animals. All right, so don't let my kids watch this video. They'll be like, what? So anyways, we've got a house full of activity, right? And if I'm selling my houses, I've got to take out a lot of different things, right? There's probably pet odors in my house that I'm not aware of because I come in my house, it smells like my house, right? And but to a buyer, then they may smell that. They may say, okay, well, I've got to replace the carpet now. I've got to clean this house. I've got to clean the air ducts, all that, because there's a dog there and they're allergic to a dog, and they absolutely love the property. Okay, so if we can take some of the stuff out that screams pets and potentially odors, and that will help tremendously on procuring offers for your property. It is that important. The other thing is removing pets. Now, I've got 2 friendly dogs, but if you're at my front door breaking in my house, one dog probably is not a nice dog. I don't know. I've never seen that dog be mean, but it has a loud bark. And so could that dog bite somebody if they were looking at my house? Well, that is a factor. It's probably a low factor, but it is a factor that we've got to consider. There are a lot of people afraid of dogs. And so we've got to think about, in the eyes of a buyer, the feelings of a buyer coming into a potential home that they want to purchase. And we want to make sure the experience is a positive experience for them. And so if they're afraid of dogs, and we've got dogs running around, and heaven forbid the dog jumps up on them or knocks them over, there's liability in that. And so if you're one of my clients, I've got to warn you about that and educate you that, sometimes Fido isn't always a great thing to have at a property when we're trying to sell the property. So and on the other hand, there's a lot of stress on an animal such as a dog, that when you have strangers in the property, right, that is not being introduced by you as the owner. And so that causes stress on the animal. So I always suggest that if you've got dogs, let's take them for a walk while we show the property. We're going to narrow down the showing hours, and say, we launch on a Friday and we limit the showings for a 2-3 hour period, and the dogs are gone for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so we can just try to get that property sold so we can have less inconvenience for you. Sometimes, depending on the market conditions and our price and all of that, different circumstances, if it's a holiday weekend, then maybe it's going to take 3 or 4 weekends to get enough people in to procure the offer that we want to see. And so if the dogs are in there, it's a hindrance for some people even going into the property. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of selling houses these days. Is not everybody is dog friendly, not everybody's cat friendly. I've never had a complaint about my turtle, but it could be a dangerous turtle. Cujo the turtle. So I haven't seen a movie about a killer turtle other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which were the good guys. So think about that, removing pets, and let's discuss a game plan with you on the best ways to do that. Sometimes our team has to go to the property and let the dogs out back, but they get introduced to us by the owners, and now the dogs are our friends as well. So sometimes that works as well. So we'll discuss that at a later time. Let's go to the next thing I wrote down. Let's set a realistic price for your property. Now, what does that mean? Brent, I want all the money out of my property. And I agree. I do not want to leave any money on the table whatsoever. One, I have a reputation to maintain. Is I want every dollar for you. I want every dollar for me as well. And so I'm going to earn that by working tremendously hard. My team is going to work tremendously hard for you and your best interest. What I'm saying here is setting a realistic price is it's not a great idea to list a property completely out of reason, which some people do. And the MLS system is full of properties that have been on the market for a year plus. And that does nobody a good service. And it's really, decreasing the value in some regard to that property. As soon as you hit that 45, 60-day period, that showings actually decrease because it's been on the market for so long. Everybody's like, what's wrong with that property? And so it doesn't really do a seller any good to leave that property on the market for a long period of time because it's $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 overpriced. So those are examples. We're going to talk about that when we meet, and we're going to price the property aggressively, but it's also going to be priced to get every single dollar out of that property and in your pocket so you can move on to your next property. Okay, the next piece is always hire a real estate agent. Now, I'm not only saying this because I'm a real estate agent, right? I'm saying this because it's in your best interest to take the emotion out of the home selling process and give that permission, give permission to a real estate agent, whether it's me or not. You can hire anybody you want to, but giving permission to somebody else to fight for your money on your home, to fight for the negotiations that always come with selling a home, and to make sure that your interests are protected. Now, I've got a lot of educated clients. I have attorneys. I have business owners. I have doctors and nurse practitioners and just really amazing educated clientele that they come to me because of a few different things. One, I tell the truth. Two, I'm going to fight for everything that we could possibly get for you and then some. And then I'm going to make sure that their interests are protected. And we do that a whole bunch of different ways that we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff when we meet, or if you meet with one of my amazing team members that have been with me for a long period of time. There's so much to go over. We can't do it all on this video, but I'm excited and honored that if you do call me, that we can at least have the conversation. And if you just want to use my videos for education purposes and hire, somebody that you're more comfortable with, then that's okay too. At least you're getting real talk from me and my team as we do educational videos like this, to at least ask educated questions. After 20 years in the business and thousands of properties being sold and training agents around the country, speaking in Toronto, Canada to a bunch of real estate agents, speaking and training agents in Italy, and really mastering my craft, I can assure you that all of this information and the other information that we're going to talk about when we meet is going to put you in a better position, and you're going to be feeling more comfortable and confident that we are the right real estate agents for the job of selling your home. Okay, so let's go to the next piece, is gathering all the necessary documents for selling, getting prepared to sell the property. Okay, so that means any of your tax documents, if the property's paid off, we need that, right? Your mortgage information, anything that your disclosure paperwork that you're going to be filling out from us. And maybe you had a remodel, maybe you had a flood and you had mold remediation. Those are all disclosure things that paperwork should be tracked down and have it ready to give to the buyer if need be, and have it ready for yourself, or if I needed to go over that with you. Maybe it's you installed a pool or a spa on your property and you have the building plans and everything that is important to some buyers. Then maybe they want to see that up front. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but start thinking about gathering all the necessary documentation about your property, and that way when we meet, you have it in case I have any questions. We can just go right to it and have it available. Okay, so the next piece will be planning for showings. Okay, so we limit our showings. I don't want somebody that's in your property that's not pre-qualified. Okay, this is a standard that I've had for a long period of time. Open houses, they do work. They don't work as well as everybody thinks that they do. They're not set. Open houses don't sell 90% of the homes out there. Open houses sell anywhere from 4 to 6% of the homes out there. And if the property's vacant, perfect open house. If the property has multiple pets and has, elderly parents or people living in the property that have restraints or something that they can't move around easily, then those are concerns that we're going to address on whether we should have open houses or not, and we're going to plan for some of those showings. Now, we do want to limit who comes in your house. We want to pre-qualify. We want to talk into a lender prior to, I want them to have a pre-qualification letter prior to looking at the property. Not every real estate agent does this. There's a lot of companies out there that I won't name the names. They're big companies, they're well-known companies, and you probably go on their websites, you probably have their apps on your phone, that they teach agents just to show the property. And we don't know if these people are axe murderers or not. And we don't want just anybody into your property, right? I think that somebody should have the potential buyer's social security number. They should fill out an application with a mortgage officer and somebody have their data, right? They have a copy of their driver's license, they're pre-qualified, and they can actually afford to buy your home. This is how we control showings, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in depth as we get further in this discussion. Okay, so the other things that we're going to talk about briefly are, writing down what you're really wanting, what's your motivation to sell. Okay, so is it a job transfer? Is it you want to be closer to work? Is it that you're moving out of state? Is it that you're moving closer to family? You're retiring? There's a whole bunch of different things that our clients call us for, and they're wanting to sell their properties. And those are important, right? We want to meet your deadlines and at least get you thinking about, okay, if I've got to be somewhere in the next 60 days, then we've got to move a little bit faster, right? If you've got 6 months, I like to know ahead of time, and I'd like to start the discussion about possibly being the right agent for the job of selling your home 6 months from now. I'd like to know that up front so I can see if we can match those timeframes and align exactly to your needs, okay? Another thing that we're going to discuss is when we're going to have broker opens, when we're going to have our photography and our videos being done. We do some amazing marketing that we're going to discuss in person whenever we meet. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've talked for a long time now, and hopefully I've educated you some. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to call my cell phone, 760-473-5435. My website is, I've actually got two here in San Diego, teamconley.com and calltheconleys.com. You can find information about us on there. You can see all the homes that we've sold and the ones that are active in the MLS and how we present properties. Anyways, again, cell phone number 760-473-5435. This is Brent Conley with eXp Realty. Thank you for watching all of this. I look forward to working hard for you.